Hello everyone, welcome aboard. So again we have brought you the new session of Daily Current Affairs Capsule, and this session has been brought to you by Himalaya IAS classes. If you want to join IAS 2021 batch or KS exam batch in English or Kannada medium, you can visit us at www.himalayaiasclasses.com, or you can reach out to us on this given number. Before starting the session, the significance of current affairs for civil services exam. In the prelims, straightforward questions are asked from the current affairs topics. Means you have direct as well as indirect questions asked on the current affairs topics. Essay, it is very important for opinion building, where you have to write multiple dimensions of any topic, and most of the interview questions are on the contemporary issues and current affairs. What we are going to cover in this session will tell you which articles to be read from the daily Hindu newspaper, then which part of the syllabus they belong to, and what are the exam important facts related to the examination. So first article of today, it relates to the Defense Ministry has said that it will impose the import embargo on 101 items. So that means more than 100 items cannot be imported from outside, so they have to be manufactured in India, and that will give a boost to the Indian manufacturing industry. So syllabus wise, it is about the manufacturing capability, part of economics, and economics is part of general studies paper 3. So Defense Ministry has said that it will introduce import embargo on 101 items. Okay, so this is a line you can utilize in mains. What steps have been taken for, let us say, to boost manufacturing in India, or to boost defense manufacturing in India in particular. Okay, so they will have a turnover of 25 billion US dollar through indigenously manufactured defense products, and also they expect to boost the export also. So not just substituting the import, but also earning more money through the export of these defense products. Okay, so in any government contract over 200 crores, no foreign company can participate in the tendering process. So again, it is a stimulating event for the domestic defense manufacturing industry. There is a negative list, so this can be asked in the prelims examination. What is known as a negative list? So negative list is nothing but the list of defense items which cannot be procured through import or from outside agencies. They have to be procured by domestic industries. Then budget will be bifurcated. So let us say defense gets 100 rupees, then defense 50 rupees will be allocated, for example, which you can have import from outside, but 50 rupees will be fixed, that this has to be spent in procuring the services or goods from the domestic industries between 2020 and 24. So these are good steps that you can write as points in the steps taken by government to boost the domestic manufacturing industry or defense manufacturing industry in India. Next article today talks about India and United States relation, always very important from the international relations point of view, and international relations is part of general studies paper 2. So India has got UNSC. This year India is being into UNSC seat. So actually article traces back the evolution of India-US ties just after the independence, where United States wanted India to become to get the seat by removing China and getting India as a permanent member of United Nations Security Council. But at that time, we were following a policy of non-alignment plus Panchashil, or peaceful coexistence. That's why we try to avoid the situation in hope for better relations with China. But ultimately, China got the seat with India's support. India denied the seat at the cost of removal of China. Later, US sided with the Pakistan during balance of payment crisis. We got conditional help from the USA. Okay, and now US is very strategic for us in terms of military equipment and technologies. We all know that few agreements which have been signed between India and US, be it LE Logistics Exchange Memorandum Agreement or COMCASA, that has been signed with the US. India needs technologies such as thorium utilization, desalination of sea water, hydrogen fuel cells. These technologies are needed in India, and US can be a provider of these technologies to us, but we do not want just Walmart or big US companies just to come and encash the Indian economy. Okay, so US, few other things where India-US ties, it has to go up is the allowance of Indian export of agricultural products into USA. Tariff of both India and US should be lowered, and India should not provide US with our troops to enter Tibet or involved in the Hong Kong and Taiwan issues. So keeping these constraints in mind, we need to develop. So actually two constraints. One, in any trade deal, it should not be just Walmart or big US giants coming and encashing the Indian market. Okay, we need technologies which are needed to solve Indian problems. Okay, so it has to be specific. Second, we should not provide troops for any US mission outside. So that level of involvement or military involvement should not be taken as of now. But yeah, other things, both the countries can complement the needs of each other, and these are the areas where ties can be improved. Next article today talks about the safety deficit, basically the overshooting of Indian Airlines plane in Kerala. So prelims disaster management in the mains is part of general studies paper 3. So Kozhikode air crash shows that there can be no compromise on the airport infrastructure. Dangerous nature of flight operations. Okay, in the midst of strong monsoon, even with the availability of instrument landing system for the tabletop runway. So see this tabletop runway, it is nothing but it's like a plateau. Okay, so if I want to draw, this runway was something like this. So on this thing, plane landed, and ahead it was not having any land. There was a 35 feet deep valley, so plane overshooted and it flew. It fell down. That was the problem. The limited space, and India has many such airports. Mangalore is another example. In Mangalore, also a similar incident happened a few years back. Okay, so visibility was less and far shorter safety area at the runway, and the one second at the end then optimal and absence of arrestor system. See, arrestor system is when a plane is going, there is a, imagine a string is there which will get stuck into the wheels of the plane and it will stop it in a short space of time. Basically you can see this in the aircraft carrier system, they always use the arrestor system. So in the short runway, that's the best way to stop a plane, and we didn't have that. There was also a recommendation of runway extension, okay, but because of land acquisition issue, it could not be made. So there is a need of transparent remedial action, not just in Kozhikode. This shows us that safety measures plus the recommendations of the committees, they have to be implemented in a timely manner, in a transparent manner, in order to stop such instances from occurring in the future. Next article today talks about the nuclear risk. So we all know that geopolitical situation in the world is not good. There is a, people are calling new Cold War situation between US and China. We all know that US-Russia relations, US-Iran relations are again not very good. India-China relations are again not very good. So in the August, we all know that 6th and 9th of August are the dates when in 1945 the nuclear bombs were dropped on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. So a lot of articles this year are coming in Hindu and talking about that again this threat is looming over the world. So let's not forget it. Syllabus wise, part of, again I would say, basically you can see it at international relations or disaster management. Okay, if you consider it IR, it is part of GS2. Disaster management, it is part of GS3. So few things from the article which can be important for you. So first such thing is, see the name of the two atomic bombs which were dropped at Hiroshima and Nagasaki. That can be a prelims question. Little boy and fat man. This is the name of two atomic bombs which were dropped on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Then Hibakusha. This is the term which is used for the survivors of the atomic bombings in Japan. Okay, so please do remember what is Hibakusha. Usually UPSC will ask, like recently seen in news, this term refers to what? So it refers to survivor of the atomic bombings. So as of now, the thing is not like intentionally there are chances of war between any two countries. But the thing is, there is pile up of so much of nuclear weapon in the world that escalation due to miscalculation or misperception among any two countries can trigger a nuclear war. Okay, as of now, what we are seeing is stressed relations between the states. There is unchecked strategic modernization as arms control arrangements where nations hedge against each other. Adoptions of nuclear postures that peddle the benefits of limited nuclear war. Okay, and emergent technologies. See, emergent technologies like now you have a digital technologies controlling this nuclear communication commands or protocols, and cyber warfare, cyber attack. These things can even create a new danger. If not the countries, let us say some terrorist organization, if they are able to hack any of these nuclear commands, then they might trigger a nuclear war. That itself can cause a lot of problems. Induction of hypersonic missiles which cannot be stopped once launched, high speed and maneuverability, incorporation of artificial intelligence, okay, self-designing or self-decision making power among the machines. They are the new development and they pose a lot of risk which has to be handled in order to avoid nuclear war. So as of now, again, it's not as significant as the Cold War, but yes, there are 100 things which can go wrong. And if any of such thing happens, the damage would be unrepairable. Next article today talks about the balancing priorities between development and environment. So prelims wise, a part of EVS and EVS is part of General Studies paper 3. So development goals must be pursued without breaching the environmental regulations. So article basically talks about the landslide events which has happened in Kerala. So National Landslide Susceptibility Mapping Program. Do remember this. This is important from the point of view of prelims. Okay. So National Landslide Susceptibility Mapping Program, the objective of NLSM is to help the states and district authority to incorporate the risk of landslide into zoning laws. Okay, so while making the laws, like whether construction is possible or not, how many stories of a building is possible, how much soil can be displaced. So in that time, this program helps them to take decisions. Quarrying, okay, open mining and unscientific cutting of slopes into hill aggravates, increases the risk of landslides. Okay, operationalizing the state's disaster management apparatus and allocating funds for preparedness are the key policy responses which has to be taken up. Enforcing regulations and observing zoning laws, as well as ensuring that slopes carved into hilly terrain have adequate provision for draining water. See, landslide is a mass movement. You all would have read it in the geography. So what happens when in, let us say in this, let me use some other drawing. Assume this is a slope, okay? So when in this area, there will be accumulation of water and then this becomes susceptible to mass movement. See, difference between mass movement and erosion is mass movement happens under the influence of gravity. So this below surface becomes very muddy, let us say, and this all will come sliding down, okay, under the influence of gravity. That's the basic difference between erosion and mass movement. So landslide is a type of mass movement whose chances gets increased because of this unregulated construction and deforestation activities. In order to stop such or minimize the incidence of such event, we should use National Landslide Susceptibility Management and use the apparatus of state disaster management. Okay, a lack of compliance with such principles is often a key reason why natural hazards end up causing a significant number of avoidable casualties. Okay, so natural hazard is different than natural disaster. Natural hazard is something which has the potential to cause a disaster, and once that thing causes a disaster, meaning a loss of life as well as property of people, then it is called as a natural hazard. So yeah, let's move to the next item now. It's about data privacy. So as of now, a lot of data is being collected due to handling of this COVID situations and what threats it can have to the human dignity. Prelims wise, part of the polity, and polity is part of General Studies paper 2. So the potential misuse of data collected during this pandemic raises concerns beyond just privacy. Okay, so governments around the world, they are increasingly turning to technology as a tool to combat the spread of this pandemic. For example, you all are using Arogya Setu app. So it knows where you are going, where you are traveling. So this should not be misused from any person or even the company. Informational privacy may no longer be sufficient to ensure our rights are protected. Instead, we need to include the matters such as bodily integrity, autonomy, and dignity. See, for example, in Kerala, if you are quarantined at home, then Kerala government has launched a scheme as per which you have to send selfies every 2 hours. So basically, you are sending your pictures, the situation at your home, and those should not be misused. Okay. So this article gives an example of Karnataka Quarantine Watch. So this data which is being collected for the handling of COVID by various institutions, it can be used to re-exert control over our bodies through ways often unknown. We don't know how it can be misused. So that is why we need a data protection legislation, which is again being discussed. There are data protection laws, not just for personal data now, there is a discussion around non-personal data as well. So how to make it safe so that it cannot be misused. Next article today talks about infrastructure scheme launched by Prime Minister of India. So prelims wise part of the economy and mains wise part of general studies paper 3. So this is a farm infrastructure scheme, means a scheme launched for creating infrastructure of agriculture. A new financing scheme of 1 lakh crore agricultural infrastructure fund has been created for setting up storage. So check these points. This can be asked in the prelims examination, and the whole thing in points you can use for mains. For storage, processing facility, which will help farmers getting high prices for their crop. The scheme will support PACs, that is Primary Agricultural Credit Societies, FPOs, farmer producers organization, agri entrepreneurs in building community farming assets as well as post-harvest agricultural infrastructure. This fund will be used for medium long-term debt financing facility for investment in viable projects for post-harvest management, infrastructure and community farming assets through interest subvention and credit guarantee. Okay, these assets will enable farmers to get a greater value of their produce, as they will be able to store and sell at higher prices. It will reduce wastage, increase the processing and value addition. So apart from the agri infrastructure fund, the rest all the things you can use as points for mains, like what are the steps have been taken by the government in order to improve the agricultural infrastructure in the country. Next article today talks about the LAC complicates India's options. So basically part of IR, international relations, and international relations is part of general studies paper 2. So see, the core argument is China is threatening, or the Chinese threat to India. We all know that the problems which are happening on the line of actual control, it is pushing India closer towards United States. This is unlikely to yield military alliance with the US, but still we will come closer with the US. Earlier, we were trying to follow the policy of non-alignment, but after the Cold War, it has become a multipolar world where we are aligning our interest with many countries in the world, okay, which is for optimal benefit of India. What is already existing alliance between India, Australia, Japan, and United States, where we can see further boosting up of relations in order to countering Chinese threat. Okay. Next article today talks about the spar over Indus water talks between India and Pakistan. So again, part of international relations, and IR is part of general studies paper 2. So India has refused a request by Pakistan to hold a meeting on the issue around Indus water treaty. See, India has refused on the ground of COVID. Okay, so India-Pakistan issues, again, they have been in news as Pakistan has issued a map showing Junagadh, Siachen, and Kashmir as part of Pakistan. And so India hasn't said that we are refusing this request because of any of these reasons, but due to COVID situation, we have refused to have this meeting. As per the agreement, Indus Water Treaty, a meeting was to be scheduled in India before March 31. See, this treaty was done after the independence, and it has the clause to share the water between the Indus River system rivers. It was done by the mediation of World Bank. Please do remember this. Led by Indus Water Commission from both the countries, a range of issues on the construction of dams and hydropower projects concerning the Indus River system are discussed in these recurring meetings. So as of now, the major issue is Rattale, run of the river project on Chenab River. It is in Kishtwar district. So please do remember this fact for the prelims examination. There is a Rattale dam which is being made. It's a run of the river dam, and it's being made in Chenab in Jammu and Kashmir. Okay, India has the right to build ROR projects on the three western rivers, Chenab, Jhelum, and Indus, as per the agreement, provided it does so without substantially impeding the flow of water into Pakistan. See, as per the project 3 west flowing rivers, they should be accessed by the Pakistan, and 3 east flowing rivers, they should be accessed by India. So Satluj, Ravi, Bias, they both come for India. Chenab, Jhelum and Indus, they are for Pakistan as per Indus Water Treaty. Moving to the next, Andaman and Nicobar will be a maritime hub. So Prime Minister of India has launched various schemes for Andaman and Nicobar. So infrastructure related scheme, basically part of economy, and economy is part of general studies paper 3. So one thing which you must note for the prelims examination is optical fiber cable that was inaugurated between Chennai and Andaman and Nicobar Island. Owing to the strategic importance, it will be developed as a maritime and startup hub. Okay, because of this connectivity with the Chennai, the optical fiber connectivity, region will no longer face any problem in getting virtually connected to the outside world. 12 islands of the archipelago has been selected for high impact projects, okay, with an emphasis on boosting trade of sea-based, organic and coconut-based product of the region. Also, a 300-kilometer long national highway will be conducted. So what steps have been taken by the government of India in the development of Andaman or Nicobar or for the island? You can have these points. Last question today, or article today, talks about the Loya Jirga approves the prisoners release. So basically it is related to Afghan news, but sometimes they ask these terms. That's why I have added this in the discussion, Loya Jirga. So let's see what is it. Syllabus, parts of international relation, and international relation is part of general studies paper 2. The Afghan government and the Taliban are on the verge of peace talks, okay, mediated by United States. Thousands of prominent Afghans have approved the release of about 400 contentious military prisoners. So the thing is, this release was the precondition for the talks. One of the points over which the conflict is there. Now, who has decided on this, whether the prisoners will be released or not? It was passed at the end of 3-day Loya Jirga. Okay, so please do remember this. This can be asked in the prelim simply. Recently seen in news, this belongs to what? So Loya Jirga is a traditional Afghan meeting of tribal elders and other stakeholders. Okay, it is held sometimes to decide on the controversial issues. So Loya Jirga, remember Afghanistan, some meeting of the tribal elders. So that was it for today's current affairs session, guys. This is a list of do's and don'ts which you can follow in order to maximize your chances for selection in the civil services exams. And please do not forget to like, comment, share and subscribe to the channel, and to press the bell icon so that you can get notified whenever we upload any new video. So thanks a lot for watching, and please stay tuned for more updates. Thank you.